everyone, it's Izzy and welcome to my first ever book review. I know that I have book reviews in my description on my channel, and it's been over a year since I created my YouTube profile and I haven't done one yet. So I thought some of you might be wondering, where are the book reviews? You say there are book reviews. Well, here's my first one. I'm going to be talking about Reaching Dustin by Vicky Grove. First of all, I should probably warn you, this is going to be an in-depth review, so there are going to be spoilers. So if you don't want spoilers, you should probably skip this video about now. Let's get into it. So I really liked this book, except for the end, because I feel like, you know, we could have gone into a bit of detail, but I'll get into that later. So let's start. So our main character is Carly Cameron, and she is in grade 6, and this is set in like Southern America, and so in the class they get paired up with another person to interview them, and whoever writes the best interview or whatever like gets chosen to be editor of the school newspapers, which is really cool. So Carly gets paired with this guy called Dustin Grote. Now in the city, the Grotes are known as like the outcasts, the bad people essentially. But she wasn't originally paired up with him. It was just kind of swapped because the girl she was paired up with wanted to pair with her boyfriend, so they anonymously changed it. So now Carly works with Dustin, who used to be very violent towards the kids in year 3, but now he's just like sort of silent. So she kind of like asks him questions, and the only thing he answers is that he's almost 13, which basically means he's a bit older than the rest of the kids, so he might have, you know, repeated a year or two. We don't know. We never get told. He kind of, you know, is a bit of a country boy. He kicks dirt everywhere. He also, you know, he's obviously got a problem with his ear at the start, so he tries to get whatever it is out with a pencil, which is not a good idea. A few days later, we learned that there's a bug in his ear, so trigger warning for that if you're grossed out. So the nurse gets it out, but then all the kids start being like, oh, Dustin, what was the bug? And, you know, taunting him. And he was never like a popular subject, but now they're talking. So Carly initially did not like being interviewing Dustin, and her friends say that if she wants to swap she can, but she doesn't for some reason. She's like, no, I'm fine. So over the next few days, things get a bit tense. Helicopters are chasing over like the city for the Grotes and stuff like that, and Dustin kind of warns Carly about it, like, you know, not in a friendly way, but just casually, like, I don't know, he just warns her. Then Carly somehow finds his secret hideout, and her brother, who's like 17, they go driving to the Grotes at one point just to see what's going on. Dustin ends up running out of the house, and her brother Noah sees Julie, his older sister, through the window, and he just bang, because they used to be in the same class before Julie dropped out to look after Dustin, and their mother drowned herself in a river a few years back, so trigger warning for that as well. So they kind of like reconnected through Julie. So the interviews end up getting cancelled because the teacher, Miss Aspen, finds out that the people were swapping with their partners, which they weren't initially supposed to do. But then Carly ends up having a fight with her friends, and she ends up going and sitting with Dustin, and they talk a little bit more. Like, Dustin's kind of reluctant to talk to her. And so that goes on for a few days, a week, or whatever. And then what happens next? Oh yeah. So Noah goes and meets Julie in secret a few times, and then one night there's like this big fight, and a drug making manufacturing place is burnt down. And so then Dustin gets kicked out of school, which unknowingly Carly's devastated. Like, she just goes home and be like, what? Why is Dustin getting kicked out? And she was sad. She didn't know what to do. And we learned early on, something I forgot to mention, is they had to take recorder lessons. Ew. And Dustin was really good. So I guess he kind of wanted to let all that inner turmoil, because he's ashamed of his family. Let all it out and kind of, you know, in his music. And every night Carly hears it from his little hideout in Koshkanon Woods. So then the school takes back his recorder after he leaves, for another student. And so Carly's devastated. Her little brother Luke, who is adorable, wants to give Dustin his grandfather's old flute that he made. And one night he sneaks out of the house and tries to take it to the woods. And Carly wakes up in the middle of the night and be like, something's wrong, and she discovered that Luke is gone. So she goes out, she follows his footsteps, and then she finds him like lying motionless on the path, and there's an ambulance there. And so it ends up Luke got shot in the heel and had a pretty bad knock to the head, but he's okay. He wakes up a few weeks later. And so Carly takes the little wooden flute to Dustin herself. He doesn't play it for a few days, but then one night he does, which is nice. So Carly goes and she just blurts out everything. And I forgot to mention that she made a presentation on her trying to teach Dustin how to read in front of the class, and he read, like, she told him deliberately the wrong sentence to read, and that just started everyone like bullying him. So that's the main reason why he got so quiet. And so she confessed to him, you know, like, oh, I told the class why I did that, and I'm really sorry, I want to be friends with you. And then so he initially refused, and she just like looks into his eyes, like literally stares into his eyes. And then he just said, because she's like, I can get them to bring you back to school if you want. And he just says, tomorrow. And that's how the book ends. So kind of a weird ending. I want to know more. I want to take a look into Dustin's life, but I don't know if there's like a part 2. So if you've ever read the book or anything, or have any other insights, please let me know in the comments, and I will see you in my next video.